ancient voice, whispering from the void, and it chills my lightless heart.
G'day guys, Duckville here. Welcome to another replay. This one is going to be a Protoss versus Zerg on Jungle Basin. A couple of you guys will be thinking, why are you doing a replay on Jungle Basin that is not even in the map rotation anymore? Firstly, don't be smart. Secondly, this is actually a pretty cool replay. So this one is going to be, we're not going to be exactly looking at something that has some amazing, fantastic plays and that sort of thing in it, but it will have something slightly different, which you normally wouldn't, or I'll say wouldn't, but you normally don't really see on Jungle Basin. But this is going to be something which you can sort of obviously take note of and perhaps use it on some different maps. Obviously this particular player, our Protoss here down in the red, Mentalist, RvmMentalist, took a particular player for another map and actually expanded it to use on this particular map, Jungle Basin itself. Now, I'm not saying I've never seen this and no one else has ever done this before, but it is something a little bit different to that you can obviously think about. So we do see that first pylon going down for Mentalist, and he's going to be coming up here into the opposing player's base. The Zerg up here, by the way, is actually NvJiFeng. I'm going to call him Feng or G or whatever, something like that. Zerg dude in blue, whatever. He's going to be our Zerg player up here. Now, we've seen that Mentalist has come in straight away here. For all the Zerg players out there, this is one sign that your Protoss opponent, especially on a 2v2, sorry, not a 2v2, a 1v1 map like Jungle Basin, is going to be fast expanding, is that this probe comes out straight away. This is a signal that they are checking to see what is happening with your spawning pool when the spawning pool goes down, and of course whether you actually get one at all, because that means that they can actually head down here, and as we can see, Mentalist is going to go straight for that natural expansion there with the Nexus first. In fact, I think this is going to be, yep, there's no gateways or anything like that, so this is going to be before the gateway or forge goes up. So this is a very heavy economy build here from Mentalist, and as he can see here with this patrolling probe, there are actually a spawning pool went down, I believe that would have been about 14 or so, or perhaps a little bit earlier, and this spawning pool, the hatchery, sorry, is now actually done. So the forge goes down for Mentalist. He's going to be putting up this little bit of a wall perhaps, and then we'll see what he does from there. The gateway goes up. Now, keep in mind, Protoss players, that this is not actually secure, despite the fact that you do have these buildings here. Zerglings and other units can still run through this middle section here, so if you want to fully block it off, you need to put something else in this spot here as well. So the Zerglings are out. These quick Zerglings there from Feng are already done. This probe is not going to be able to get home to his family, but he is now dead. The interesting there, the extractor actually gets cancelled, so Mentalist did not actually see that that would have been cancelled. He'd be assuming that the extractor goes up. There may be a couple of roaches or perhaps banelings on the way, but he is not going to be aware that that actually got cancelled, and that he's going to perhaps go for something a little bit different, that obviously Feng's going for something a little bit different. Now we do see Mentalist is actually fully walled off, as we mentioned before. He's fully walled off this this ramp here with the pylon. Got a cannon up here on the side to defend as well. Looks as if Feng's going to hack away at these rocks as well. The rocks are going to be dead in around about 15 years once those Zerglings get done with it, because that's how long it actually takes. I've actually counted it out. Cannon goes up, of course, to make sure that's defended. Doesn't want these Zerglings to get through there, even though it will take a long time. So we do see an interesting response to the Protoss fast expand is to get a third hatchery. So on this map, and I would assume perhaps on some of the other maps, it can actually get really hard for Zerg to actually defend this the third base. Whether it be this one here, you can get attacked through the middle here, of course, or from the sides. There's about 50 ways to actually flank this middle base. And if you were to take the third base as one of these side ones, you can get warps in the back, dropships in the back if there's a Terran. You can get attacks up this ramp and attacks through the tall grass here as well. So you can see some, you know, pylon shenanigans where they sort of put a pylon here and then just warp straight in, or warp behind the grass and get like 50 zealots and then walk in and kill your third. So you do have to be very careful as Zerg on this map. This is partly why it was removed, is that it can be quite a difficult map for Zerg, as we saw in the GSL Season 4, which just passed, is that a lot of Zergs had a lot of trouble on this map, including, of course, Nest T, one of the best Zergs in the world, if not the best Zerg in the world. So we'll see what's happening here on the production tab. We do have another cannon going up here at the natural expansion for Mentalist. He's going to just make sure he's adequately defended here. And as we can see here, it's interesting because he's put up a sizable amount of cannons here. We're going to see even another third one here at the front. And in fact, all that Feng has done is build a lot of drones. So we do see these drones, not sure what these guys are doing. They're just having a smoke break out the front here, not ready to head back to work, not until the Union steps in. But there they go, they do actually get back to work, and of course they're going to be getting a lot of mineral income for our Zerg player. Now, as you can see on the income tab, we do have 37 probes for Mentalist, and we do have around about 46 drones done for Feng. So he's going to be certainly powering along in the economy stakes, sitting on around about 1600 mineral income, along with the 1200 for Mentalist. So this is one sign that the attack is going to be coming from, or perhaps some sort of attack may be coming from your Protoss opponent as a Zerg, is that you do see these gates go down. Normally when you take this fast third against a Protoss who is fast expanded, you will generally be quite safe till around about the sort of the 10-11 minute mark, when you do see warp gates will be done. You'll see that a couple of units will have warped out from the Protoss player, and that's when you've got to be prepared. So as you can see here, interestingly, Feng actually losing 2 of his overlords, one over here at the side, not really expecting this Phoenix to come across and play. And of course this one that went in and sacrificed, this was obviously the very much a sacrifice overlord that actually came through here and was then hunted down by that Stalker. But we do see that, as we said, the Phoenix is out for Mentalist. He's going to run around the map, cause any sort of havoc he can with this one Phoenix. But of course, given that we do have a Queen at each of the bases, the Queen will be well enough to shoot down these Phoenix if they stay around. But it looks as if he's just scouting out what's happening here at the Zerg base, and then he's going to move on. So you can see a few roaches are popped out. He's obviously going to know that that Feng is well prepared for any sort of attack that he might do early. And he's also going to see, he still has not actually seen the middle base, but he is going to come through here and see it now as we just as he's just gliding over here. The Queen comes in here and tries to stop him, takes some shots at the Phoenix. Phoenix almost down to half health there, which is interesting to see, but he does now know that the third base is up and running. So from a Protoss perspective, what do you want to do here? You can do sort of 2 things really. You can either get up a decent force and actually try and attack to take out this third if possible, or you can try and tech up a bit further. Now it looks as if not really sure just yet, but it looks as if Mentalist is going to keep his tech going for the moment. He's getting up a couple more cannons in response to the fact that he saw a lot of roaches, and of course the +1 weapons now done as well. We're going to see obviously a lot of roaches and some Zerglings here from Feng. He's well protected now. As I said, that sort of 10 to 12 minute timing attack that you can see from a Protoss that fast expands is going to be well defended, of course. And we will see that, is speed done yet? He does finally have speed, yeah. So it looks as if Feng has actually moved across. He's going to be getting the +1, sorry, not the +1, or +1 to speed, I suppose, for roaches, but he's also getting the Hydraless Grooves. They're going to be on the dance floor shortly and doing their groovy thing. And he will probably switch into something a little bit more roach heavy, sorry, Hydra heavy, to make sure that he can actually defend against gateway units, because they may be coming soon. Now we do see the Spire on the way as well, to make sure that any possible Colossi will be hunted down by Corruptors and disposed of. And as we can see, it looks as if Mentalist's response is, as I said, this is a slightly different build here, actually moving up to take this third base. Now he's going to be able to secure this nice and comfortably here, putting up a whole bunch of cannons here, using up a lot of the leftover minerals he has. He's got a sizable here with some Zealots, Stalkers, and a few sentries to put some force fields down. And it looks as if, however, this Overlord is actually going to spot... No, I'm going to press the B button just to make sure you guys can see that properly. This Overlord is going to actually spot this third base. I'll count correctly. The cannons are now going up here as well, so the Overlord does come in here, sees that 4th base is up and running, and now he's going to be dead. So he knows that the 4th is there. We'll probably see some sort of attack from Feng shortly with his whole bunch of Zerglings and Roaches here as well. And we did have, of course, we got these guys over to the side, and perhaps there will be some Hydras on the way shortly, and not really sure just yet, but we do see, looks as if Feng is preparing for a double attack here. As we mentioned with this third base, you've got one ramp here with the tall grass, you've got another ramp here, but it looks as if Protoss will be able to fend this off quite easily with one force field here to stop these Roaches from coming in. The cannon cannons disposing of anything that got in, and a couple more force fields here to make sure that these Zerglings do not get to run in and then fly away as they generally do. But nicely defended there by Mentalist, putting some nice force fields down, making sure that these weren't exposed positions there, and it was perhaps not the greatest idea to run into that force for Feng, but either way, he got some units down, of course, on the Protoss team, but it looks as if we're going to see some creep coming out along the map here, and we may see some sort of counterattack in just a moment from Mentalist, because he does have his Colossi. He's got 2 Colossi out now. The extended thermal lance is almost done as well, probably another 20 seconds or so on that, but it looks as if he's going to move out anyway. A few Hydras are here, along with some Zerglings. They're going to be trying to surround some of these units, but they're not going to get to the ramp in time. The Hydra's still taking some shots at those Stalkers. Now, we're going to see, I'm not really sure what we're going to see now from Mentalist. He's going to need to get that thermal lance out before he can actually attack, and perhaps maybe a few sentries to make sure he can control the positioning of the Hydras, because as you can see, Feng actually doing a nice job actually spreading his forces just to make sure that any sorts of attacks do get spotted and then are actually swarmed correctly. So the 3rd Colossi is out for Mentalist. We do have a couple more units on the way. Blink is on the way as well, and we do have a 4th base going up for Feng over here on the 3 o'clock base. Now, we had seen that the Observer was here at the 4th base, and it does know that it is definitely there, but we will probably see some sort of attack here. Yeah, we do see a warp in of some Zealots here. The Ursadak calf getting in the way there. Make sure you don't get hit by the Zealots. They'll carve you into steak. But the Zealots now moving through. They're going to have a shot at this hatchery here. Might want to cancel this one, because I'm not sure if this is actually going to get up in time, depending on how fast the reaction is of Feng. But it looks as if Feng, this is going to be quite a difficult one to defend, because he's got this attack here on the side. The Corruptors are going to need to come in here and make do of these Colossi, and the Colossi burning away a lot of those roaches, and of course these Hydras are going to be quite a good target for the Colossi as well, but the Colossi do get taken down. This, just by the way, that hatchery did not go down. It's sitting there on 125 health. The Colossi have now been dealt with. These Stalkers are going to be very vulnerable to the high DPS of the Hydras, of course, and a couple of these dudes not very happy they got left out in the cold here on the low ground. They're going to get killed by these Hydras and the Stalkers, the Hydras and the Zerglings, sorry. The DT's now actually coming out for Mentalist. He's going to go to town on all of these units, hacking up some of these Hydras, hacking them apart, and of course some of these Zerglings as well. The Stalkers are now going to try and counter-attack with these DTs, but the DT's going to be spotted eventually, because there is an Overseer on the way. Cocoon is almost done. He's going to hatch out into a butterfly in a second. A pretty Zerg butterfly, there it is. A couple of queens. No, just one queen, of course, and a couple of spine crawlers. That's what I was actually getting to. Just morphing in here at the 3rd base here for Feng, and we'll see what we're going to have here from now. We do have a couple of DTs that went in and actually took care of that hatchery, I believe, and now have come across to the rocks, and he's going to see what he can do at the rocks. This one DT trying to get in here does get spotted, and there is another one that went in the back, it looks like, to this 3rd base, and actually take care of that quite easily. But if we have a look here at the Zerg Natural, these 3 DTs are going to get in here with their Warp Blades, with their +2 damage as well, doing 55 damage per hit. They are going to whittle away this hatchery, and it is not going to be saved. I would not think the Overseer does come in, but the DTs are going to escape quite nicely there. Well, at least one of them is, perhaps 2. No, just 1, I think, because these roaches are going to catch this other one in the back of the line there. But nice little attack there from Mentalist. He's going to be able to keep his nice little lead here in terms of the economy and the army. Perhaps he's just a little bit, no, he's actually slightly behind in the army, but he may be able to make do of that here now, taking care of some of these Hydras, and the Queen, of course, there. Moving in with a lot of these Stalkers, I'm not sure this is the greatest idea, because we do have a whole heap of Zerg forces coming in from the side. The Roach is going to be able to take a lot of the damage from the Colossi. The Colossi now going down, and it looks as if the Zerg is now going to be able to walk in here and see if he can have a shot at this 3rd base of Mentalist. And there are only a few Stalkers here, along with the cannons, of course. These should be enough to defend off this attack. But the Immortal, of course, doing a lot of damage as well. Nice job there, bringing out that Immortal to the front. Once again, these DTs at the front for Mentalist are doing a great job holding back these Hydras, doing a whole ton of damage, and then making short work of any of the units that get stopped there at the ramp. Now, that attack there was quite an interesting one from Feng. He did certainly have a lot more units than Mentalist did have, but obviously got held up there given this very small ramp and the very small invisible guards there of Mentalist with the DTs at the front. We do have another DT trying to come in the back here. Not sure what he's going to be able to do. I think that Overseer may still be around, not to mention it is a hatchery, so it does have 1500 life. So he's going to go to town on these drones here. Gets 4 kills so far. He's got 4 drone kills, I believe, going up to 6, and he'll probably get a couple more before any sort of defense do come in here. These Zerglings finally do come in with an Overseer as well to make sure the DT is spotted, and the DT is going to go down in just a second. DT now taking out a couple more units are on the way to make sure this fourth base does not stay up. They're going to sit here and, as you said, make sure that it's defended adequately. And it looks as if, not sure what Feng's going to be doing for the moment here. He's just trying to do a great job of actually controlling the map, which he generally has done quite well. Obviously, this perhaps a little hiccup here with these Zerglings not doing much against this heavy Protoss force here with the Zealots that are doing their 10 damage on their blades, and then of course the DT as well with its 55 damage. But the Mutalists, of course, will be able to clean that up quite nicely. And as we see here, we've got some Stalkers, DTs, and a couple of Zealots moving across here into this fourth base, making sure that they clean up any of the Zerg creep that has gotten around the map. And we may see a two-pronged attack here. The Stalkers trying to blink in to take care of the Mutalists, and they do clean up most of these Mutalists. However, a lot of these Stalkers up here have been lost, so it's actually not the best sort of battle for Mentalist to go into, because he's now lost a lot of Stalkers, and not to mention these Stalkers here are going to be going down shortly as well to the high damage of those Hydras once again. Now we do have one DT sort of hanging around here, and we do have this natural going up here. The fourth base is very key. If Mentalist can hold this, I believe this will actually be his game for the taking, because if he can hold that, he'll certainly be in a great economic position, given that he actually obviously has a lot of upgrades at the moment. He's got the +2, as we've mentioned a couple of times, and our Zerg opponent does have +2 on both armor and ranged weapons, so he may be able to actually take out this base here. The Templar coming in from the side, a feedback going down on that Overseer, and it looks as if there's a really tough position for Mentalist. He has to make sure his Stalkers are in good position, and given that these Templar, I don't actually think they have Storm, so the Storm did not go down there at all, and this one Immortal who's going to be able to hold off some of these roaches, but there's just way too much coming in there. This could be the end, because of course Mentalist has now lost this Nexus. He had to cancel that one, and the fourth base is not going to be coming into fruition there for Mentalist, and he's going to have just this third base to hold off any sorts of attacks. Now we may see just a bit of a tech switch perhaps from our Zerg player Feng there. He may want to head into Broodlords just to make sure he can take out this base here at the 9 o'clock position. Not sure if he's going to do that though. He may just want to sit back and make sure he can macro up adequately. He does have Burrow though, which is going to help out the roaches a little bit. Now, as we can see in the economy stakes, we do have Mentalist currently sitting at 67 probes. Now we've got him up against Feng, who has 44. He's built something. He's spent a lot of his drones just then, but we obviously have the minerals all gone here in the main. That's essentially done. These ones at the natural are almost done as well, and of course this third base is almost done as well. So Feng's going to need to take this one, and if he can hold that one, which I think he will be able to given that he does have the army advantage, he should be fine to win this game. Now of course, the one problem he may have is with these Templar forces that might come in here and make short work of any Zerglings, and which will make the job of the Stalkers a lot easier. But we'll have to see how this progresses from here. We do have a couple more warp-ins from Mentalist here, grabbing a few more Stalkers and a Sentry as well, and another Colossi joining the battle. This once again may not be the best attack for Mentalist to come into. This is obviously, as we mentioned before, a heavily flanked position, but we do have the reason that he's actually getting here quite easily was because there was an attack on that 3 o'clock position. We do see a blink coming in here. These Stalkers are going to go to town on these roaches. The roaches still doing a great job on these Stalkers though, and the Immortals are going to need to come across and make sure they can get their heavy damage into the fight there. Storm finally goes down. We do see a couple of great Storms there on top of some of those roaches, and of course the Corruptors as well, but the Corruptors have done their job. They've gotten rid of one of the Colossi, and this second Colossi may go down as well if the roaches can keep up with it, which they certainly can. Colossi goes down, and that may signal the end for our Protoss player there. He's really stuck behind on his economy and of course his army as well. His tech is still also slightly behind as well. He does not know that these roaches are here and ready to rumble, and they do pop up from the ground there like trapdoor spiders, jumping up there and making short work of a lot of those stalkers, and they're going to take out that Templar as well. And that was a great little attack there from Feng, making great use of the burrow technique there on the roaches. And of course we do see some more DTs coming across to this fourth base. So as we mentioned before, if Feng can actually hold this fourth base, he'll be in a great position and it'll essentially be game over. And it looks as if he may get it. No, the hatchery does go down. The last DT actually taking out that hatchery just before he died there. And now these probes are going to be long distance mining here, as we can see, into this fourth base, and that is definitely not a good sign as a Protoss player, or as any sort of player I suppose, is when you're stuck there with probes running around the whole map trying to get some minerals for you. And it looks as if this may be the end for Mentalist, because he's got a really low count of units, and he does try and come in here harassing this third base. I'm not really sure what the point of harassing this third base is here, because there's no drones here, there's no minerals there either, and it looks as if he's just trying to get some sort of army advantage, but it's not going to happen. A stream of roaches coming in there from the side. Where is the fly spray? You're going to need some to kill all those roaches, and the fourth is going back up again. So really tough position here for Mentalist. He's got roaches hacking away at some of these probes, which are long distance mining. That's a bit harsh given how far they do have to travel. It's like taking the train 2 hours to work and then just being punched in the face when you get to work. But I don't know, the roaches are going to be able to clean up a lot of this, and perhaps a final attack here from Mentalist using some stalkers with nice blink micro, but the DTs are just not fast enough. The problem with using blink and DTs together is that of course the DTs are not fast enough to keep up when you're blinking. So he's going to make short work of some of these Zerglings as well, but he's just not going to be able to win this game, I don't think, given that he's long distance mining. And it looks as if that is almost the end here. He did take out this hatchery, which is a very small victory, but it's not going to win the war, I don't think. And these drones also long distance mining from this fourth base for Feng. But as we can see, there are very little units left over for Mentalist. He's currently sitting on 96 supply, and he's he's against 97 from Feng, who's obviously on 97, but a lot of his actual supply has gone into his army forces, whereas if we actually have a look at the income tab, we can actually see that Mentalist actually has a whole ton of workers, which are obviously going to be the bulk of his army supply. So we do see some roaches coming in here. The Zerglings trying to block the escape of the stalkers, but the stalkers do eventually get away. The cannons here are going to provide a lot of covering fire for these stalkers, but the stalkers are going to walk in or even blink in, I suppose, to catch these roaches before they run away. But as we said, some more zealots coming in here to the fourth base. Now Feng is actually quite well prepared for this one this time. Zealots do go down, and I'm thinking that is going to be it, because Feng is sitting on a whole heap of minerals and gas, whereas our Protoss hero here is sitting on just about nothing, not to mention his long distance mining. There it is, a GG from Mentalist. A great little game there, obviously a longer one, a lot more macro focused, but we did see slightly different play there from Mentalist to start off the game, fully walling off this this main ramp here, and then expanding down here, taking out the rocks and progressing out through this side here as well, putting up a lot of cannons to make sure this is defended. So a great little play there from Mentalist, but unfortunately he just did not have enough control over the map to actually pull it off adequately. And our Zerg player here, Feng, doing a great job with his macro himself, doing a nice job producing units at the right time, producing drones at the right time, and finishing off the Protoss forces when needed. So great little game there. Hope you guys liked that one. Make sure you tune in. There are going to be some more coming up soon. And leave some comments. Make sure you subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your mum. All of that jazz. And I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.